Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Nagamon Chetty and Charlie State.
Our headlines today. New guidance for care home residents in England. From next week, they'll be able to go out and visit relatives without the need to self-isolate upon return.
India becomes the first country in the world to report 400,000 coronavirus cases in a single day.
Back on the dance floor with no social distancing. The COVID pilot schemes testing crowd safety.
I have trust in the science, I have trust in the tests, and I think if we've all come here negative, then why would we come out positive? And it's been really nice in a safe way.
Good morning. This can be the weekend that Manchester City reclaim their Premier League title. A win at Crystal Palace today will put them within touching distance of their second trophy in a week.
It's really important that people of all ages get the jab.
David Williams joins stars including Liz Hurley and Selene Henry, urging people to get their coronavirus vaccine.
Good morning. The April showers we've seen over the last few days continue into the start of May. There are some more chilly nights on the way and more widespread rain for Bank Holiday Monday. All the weather details coming up here on Breakfast.
Good morning. It's Saturday, the 1st of May. Our top story is that care home residents in England are going to be allowed to go out for walks or visit friends and relatives in their gardens from Tuesday without having to self-isolate for 2 weeks on their return.
The government says it's updated its guidance in light of the success of the vaccination programme and falling coronavirus infection rates.
Now, campaigners had threatened legal action, arguing that residents' human rights were being breached. Here's more from our social affairs correspondent, Alison Holt.
Care homes have felt the full force of COVID-19, but now with most residents vaccinated and infections falling in the community, there's been increasing anger over government restrictions which families call barbaric. If residents leave a care home, even if it's just for a walk, they're expected to self-isolate for 14 days when they return. The government says that will now change, to the relief of campaigners.
I think this guidance was always so bizarre, so cruel and so discriminatory. I mean, it was illegally imprisoning people in care homes. It was depriving them of their liberty. It was doing incalculable harms.
From next Tuesday, official guidance will say residents who leave a care home for low-risk visits will not have to self-isolate on return. They can visit a relative's garden, parks or outdoor public spaces, and they can go indoors to vote. They will need to be accompanied by a nominated visitor or care worker. But residents who leave the home for such things as medical appointments will still have to self-isolate on return. Guidance in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland says visits out should be assessed according to the local situation. Alison Holt, BBC News.
The DJ, Fatboy Slim, will headline a rave for thousands of music lovers today as part of a government pilot scheme to test how large-scale events can happen safely when lockdown restrictions are further eased.
It's taking place in a warehouse in Liverpool. Our reporter, Mairead Smith, is outside one of the testing centres which all 3,000 guests will need to go to. So, good morning to you. This follows another event which happened yesterday.
That's right. Yesterday morning, I was outside that warehouse at Bramley-Moore Dock. It was all closed off, ready for action. And everybody that arrived at that gig yesterday afternoon had to prove that they had a negative COVID test before they were able to gain entry. It was one very important condition. This is one of the test centres that people will be coming to today as well, ahead of the gig this afternoon. That's the second one, as you say, Fatboy Slim headlining. Last night, though, what scenes! We've never seen them in more than a year. People mixing together, the Blessed Madonna in her tweets last night saying, yes, there was a mosh pit. People together, dancing, enjoying themselves, but in a way, in a safe way, because the whole idea is to try and ensure that events like that can happen again as we move along the roadmap out of lockdown. It's all part of a very unique, very special scientific experiment. The air quality, the way people mingle, the impact on people who were at the event yesterday and today, and a mini festival at Sefton Park tomorrow will be carefully monitored to ensure that big events can happen again, not just here in Liverpool, but right across the country. Back to you.
Right, thank you very much. Families in Israel have begun burying their loved ones after at least 45 people died in a crash at a crowded Jewish festival. Funerals have been allowed for victims who are positively identified after the tragedy that left another 150 people injured. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who visited Mount Meron where the accident took place, has promised an inquiry into what happened.
Detectives investigating the murder of a police community support officer say they have no clear suspects in the case. Julia James's body was found in a wood in Snowdown near Dover on Tuesday. Her family says that she loved with her whole heart. She died from serious head injuries.
A campaign has been launched to raise £2.3 million to build a memorial inside St Paul's Cathedral dedicated to those who have died as a result of the pandemic. Would see an online book of remembrance installed in a structure inside the London landmark. More than 7,300 names are already in the book as part of the cathedral's Remember Me project.
Celebrities, including Sir Elton John, Liz Hurley and Sir Lenny Henry, have joined forces to tackle coronavirus vaccine hesitancy and misinformation in a new video.
It comes as latest figures show 95% of over 45s in England have received at least one dose of a jab. Abby Spitton has this report.
My name is Elton John.
He's just one of the famous faces encouraging people to take up the offer of a coronavirus vaccine.
It's really important that people of all ages get the jab.
The vaccination rollout has seen the NHS and volunteers working around the clock to deliver doses to millions. Infection rates in England have plummeted to levels last seen at the start of September, and people aged 40 and 41 are the latest to be invited to get a jab. But there are concerns about misinformation in some communities, something addressed in the video.
People in the Black, Asian, ethnic and minority community are 20% less likely to take up the vaccine.
NHS England says the uptake of the vaccine has improved among all ethnic minorities and hopes the video continues to reassure people that the jab is safe and effective.
So roll up your sleeve. It's not just your own life you'll be saving, it's other people's lives too. Any good?
Very good, Your Majesty.
The race is on. The government set a target to offer a vaccine to all adults in the UK by the end of July. There's now an added sprinkle of stardust to help get there.
I think I was good in there. I hope I got the job.
Let's go back to events in India now, and the country has become the first to record more than 400,000 new coronavirus infections in a single day, as it struggles to cope with a deadly second wave of the virus.
Our correspondent Davina Gupta joins us now from Delhi. Davina, this situation, we were shocked at hearing 200,000 a day. Now this number 400,000 a day, it just seems relentless there.
It's a grim milestone, no doubt, but experts are saying that it could be worse because we've seen cases of underreporting in many states. Health workers that I've been speaking to have pointed out that a lot of times they're under pressure not to report deaths due to COVID crisis because it will put the government in an embarrassing spot even further. And experts say the number of infected cases could be over 20 times what we're seeing right now. We've seen the unprecedented rush to hospitals leading to acute shortage of oxygen, beds and essential medicine, and this even as global aid is pouring in this past week. What's also worrying is that a lot of young people have been affected. I was speaking to a virologist who said this wave of coronavirus is deadlier. She also pointed out that people who are below the age of 40 years are more at risk, and we've seen fatalities in that age group, which is quite worrying here. India has also opened up its vaccination drive to people above the age of 18 years to save as many as possible, but only 6 states are for now going ahead from it today because there is a vaccine shortage that's being reported by others.
Davina, thank you very much. Davina Gupta there for us.
Just coming up to 6:10 on a Saturday morning. Let's have a look at some of the papers for you and the front pages. We will start with the Daily Mail and focusing on its campaign to help build a memorial in St Paul's Cathedral to honour those who've died with coronavirus. We'll find out some more details about that a little later on.
Here we go, declares the Daily Express. It says Boris Johnson is due to reveal the traffic light system for travel abroad. It's thought just a handful of countries will be on the so-called green list, meaning you won't have to quarantine when arriving in the UK.
Let's have a look at the Times, reporting that people could be allowed to hug friends and family from the 17th of May. This all outlined, of course, in the government's roadmap some time ago. This is the earliest dates that things around social distancing could change. That, of course, all depends if ministers approve the easing of those restrictions.
The most read story on the BBC website is the discovery of a giant fatberg clogging a sewer in Birmingham. It's thought to weigh around 300 tonnes and could take a month to clear. It reminds me of that fatberg discovered in London not so long ago as well.
I find those
Horrible
absolutely
things.
fascinating.
Yeah.
It's a very clear indication. If you're one of those people and think maybe you've all done it from time to time, you put something down the sink that you shouldn't, that's where it ends up. That is where, if it comes out of your own drain, then it will end up somewhere and just cause a problem in the system.
See the headlines as they happen and watch BBC News live in the app and get the full story with bbc.co.uk/news. Follow the story for all the latest with BBC News.